Final question is always some variation of advice for authors. But since I have you and you have all of this expertise on marketing and publicity, for any question that I should have asked and just wasn't smart enough to think of it, that we've missed, if there were one or were you 5 or 10, however many you're comfortable with, things that you wish every author listening would take to heart, a bare minimum of what authors should be doing about publicity, what they need to know about publicity to market their books, what would you want them to know?
Ooh, big one. Big one to cap it off. Number one, we are so fortunate to live in this information age where there is so much information and so many resources literally at the click of a button. Do your research. I think a lot of authors are very surprised by how much work goes into being an author outside of the writing part. Like the writing part is, and I think you know this, Rob, the writing part is like, I don't want to give a percentage, but it's not all the work by any means. So, before you sort of blindly walk into launching a book with your head in the clouds, really do your research and understand what you're getting into and what it's going to take by way of just sheer sort of hours and manpower to achieve your goals. Build your community. That's a really big one. No writer is an island, and I think that if you operate completely independently, aren't paying attention to sort of what your contemporaries and competition is doing, aren't networking, and I don't like that term, like networking, because it feels very inauthentic and it feels like something scary. But networking is really just connecting with people who are interested in the same things that you are. And building a tribe, building a community is something that I have seen some authors do so successfully that frankly it's virtually eliminated the need to be paying a publicist, because they build their own little crescendo that builds this sort of self-sustaining momentum. Working with a publicist can then like supplement that and really help it take off, but it's all about building that little fire to begin with, right? And once we build that little fire, we can sort of stoke it and get this big roaring flame going. So do your research, build your community, set realistic and achievable goals for yourself. Just like anything, I think it's a mistake to go for your first, run, and then say, I'm going to run a marathon next month. And yet it's something I see authors do to themselves all the time, is, publish their first book and say, if I haven't sold 200,000 copies by, within the first 2 months, then, I'm going to be upset. Set realistic and achievable goals for yourself. And that comes back to doing your research. What are those realistic and achievable goals? Like, I can't recommend enough that you subscribe to industry news and newsletters, and keep a finger on the pulse of what's going on. Like, there are great resources out there, from Publishers Weekly to Shelf Awareness, Publishers Marketplace, where you can see what the average author is making, what sorts of publicity strategies or, marketing things other authors are doing, and then learn from that. So I think my final bit of advice would be constantly be observing and learning, not just creating and promoting. You can get sort of sucked into this vortex where, again, you're an island. You're only paying attention to your own work and what you're doing. But the more you can look outwards and be learning from your community, I think the better informed you're going to be to make the right choices for yourself, and not be like spinning your wheels, doing stuff that you dislike and that frankly isn't going to be that effective for you to begin with. And so actually, that was a lie. My final tip is, don't do anything that feels inauthentic or incongruous with who you are and why you decided to do this in the first place. I think that protecting your joy and your passion for creating above all else is absolutely essential. Don't let anyone talk you into doing stuff that you hate. In the mission to become the author you want to be. If it makes you feel icky, it's the wrong thing for you to be doing. There are 1,001 different ways to market a book, and I believe that they're all on the Smith Publicity website. And surely some of them are going to work for you, but some of them aren't, and that's okay. You don't have to be good at everything. You don't have to be, the wittiest, funniest person on Twitter and also, write the most thrilling books. Think outside the box, be creative, learn from others, but ultimately be true to yourself, because really this is such a special and joyful thing you're doing as a writer and creator, and I never want to see that get sort of sucked out of someone in the necessary evils of marketing and promoting a book.